WWE Summerslam 2024 is fastly approaching. Next Saturday, August the 3rd, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to it. Big event feel in a stadium. I mean, can't get much better than that. And right now we're going to break down the confirmed 7-match card. If any of the new matches are announced from the time this video gets released until the time of SummerSlam, I will more than likely put out another video where I put my predictions out on that. And you know your boy is Nostradamus with the previews. I'm always on top of what's going on. 60% of the time it works. Every time. Now, this is a 7-match card, as the previous PLEs in the Paul Levesque era, the PLE era, have dictated that they've been about 5 matches. And I like that, because what they're doing is, like, can you imagine the old formula where it was like every month there was supposed to be a huge PLE or PPV, and there were huge implications and there had to be huge matchups. So what you were left with was the same main event or variations of the same main events for the next 3 months. So by the time you got to a SummerSlam or a Survivor Series or WrestleMania or even Royal Rumble, that match had less significance. So you had to pay, $50, $60 a month or $9.99 for the subscription to see basically the same types of main event matches, just with different stipulations or, something else at risk there, and that's something that I felt like they did a great job of checking, so that they're still beholden to the 1 month pay-per-view. Every month there's a pay-per-view or PLE, but there's, it's still exciting and it's still something worth watching, but you're minimalizing the amount of matches, and you're also giving other superstars a chance to shine. So that allows for the Big 5, which I would consider to be Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania. They all seem significant. They all have this special feel to them, but not kind of devaluing some of the other PLEs in that category, right? So Bash at Berlin has its thing, Clash at the Castle has its thing, and you still get the big shows. So you have your B shows, your C shows, for lack of a better term, and then you also still have your A shows, and your A shows now seem that much more spectacular than they ever have, or at least they haven't in a while. So we're going to break this down. I'm going to go over the confirmed matches with you, and we're going to see if we can get through this. For the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest defends his championship against Gunther. Now, this is an interesting, because I've been seeing a lot of the comments on my account, and they're saying that this is a heel versus heel match. And I understand where they get that, but to me, it is far and away a good guy versus a bad guy match. Damian Priest, in my opinion, has been building towards being a lovable face for a long time. He is distancing himself away from Judgment Day, and has been for a long time. He is still glued to Rhea, and in many ways, it seems to me that Rhea is the one person that he has this love for, like a brother-sister vibe. They are the Terror Twins, and it shows, and it seems to me that that's the only one that he really clings to. It's very obvious to me that he's shown signs that he does not trust Finn Balor. He does not trust JD McDonough. Barely even talks to the guy. He does not trust Carlito, and he is kind of implementing more of a father figure role to Dominic Mysterio in the recent weeks, so much so that it's kind of turning Dominic Mysterio off. He has been out in the ring without Judgment Day. He has said numerous times that they need him, that he doesn't need them. This is, to me, all signs that are pointing to the fact that Damian Priest is making his own way. He's carving his own path in the WWE, and that is getting him in a very face role. He's getting cheered, and I think it's just all building to that point. What I also think that we are building to is that inevitable implosion of the Judgment Day. And I do believe that we see some sort of version of that at SummerSlam. You know, they've been building and building and building and stretching this thing as far as it can stretch, and there's not a whole lot of give left. And I believe we're going to see some cracks, and if not some breaks, coming up at SummerSlam. You have another match that I'm going to talk about later with Morgan and Ripley, and I feel like this is the one that's really going to cause the seismic shift in the Judgment Day, this rift. And it's going to happen, and I believe Finn Balor is going to be a part of it. And everything that I see is leading me to believe that we're going to see some sort of a feud between Finn Balor and Damian Priest going forward. So as far as the match is concerned, I'm going to go with Gunther. I believe he is set up to win the World Championship. He is set up to usher in a new reign of dominance with this championship, give it the prestige. And I believe that sends Damian Priest into his transformative role as not bondage taker, but a different type of a path for him with Rhea Ripley. And they go on a tear against this new Judgment Day, or whatever's left of the old Judgment Day, on a new path. So my prediction is Gunther. Mine's well go with the Women's World Championship. It is Liv Morgan challenging, or defending rather, against Rhea Ripley for the WWE World Women's Championship. And just as I had said in the match with Gunther and Damian Priest, I believe this is going to continue the rift between Judgment Day and the crack, and probably a break. I believe, as I've said in numerous videos, and this is a weird thing how this has become one of my most popular videos on my channel, bar none, are the videos involving this program between Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley. I have a lot to thank for this program as far as bringing eyes on the product. One of the first shorts that I ever put out was a kind of like a blend of the mustache scene in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where he is flirting with his cousin's teacher, and she goes, "That's a fake mustache," and he goes, "No, it's not," and he keeps saying, "No, it's not," and I took a clip of that and I placed it over Dominic and Liv running into each other for the first time ever at that time, and the clip blew up. It's available on my Shorts channel. If you scroll down a bit, you'll be able to see it. And ever since then, anything that I do about this program that I put out on my channel, it gets the eyes. Most of the people on my channel are viewing my channel to get more information and more opinions of this program. So I have this program to thank for the amount of attention that I've gotten in such a fast amount of time. And with that being said, if you are here for that, then you already pretty much know how this is going to play out in my perspective. And that is with Dominic Mysterio costing Rhea Ripley the match and giving Liv Morgan the win. This will either be intentional or this will be made to look like an accident to stretch this out even further. But I believe, just like Otis and Chad Gable, they will stretch it out. However, I do believe it needs to be intentional, and we need to get this on. If you look back with Eddie Guerrero and Chyna, and this is off of memory, so I really don't know how this is going to play out. And after this video is over, I am going to go look and confirm if this is true or not. And I will either have pie on my face, or I'll be able to throw my fists in the air and go, this old head's memory is still good. But I remember when Eddie Guerrero broke up with Chyna, it was very similar. He was like, "I don't want you around to say," and he really cussed her out and sent her out, just very similar to the way Dominic did to Liv. Okay, now this is an interesting detail because they like to take these things from the past and flip them over, and I'll get to that later on because there's a match where I'd like to revisit this whole idea. They like to take a program from back in the day, and then they like to kind of flip it a little bit. So when Dominic did that with Liv, it reminded me of what Eddie did to Chyna, but the only difference here is that instead of it being for real, it's going to be a ruse. And at what point we get to find out that that's the ruse is dependent upon the patience of Triple H, Paul Levesque. So it will be a situation where Dominic costs Rhea the match, but it's up in the air on whether or not we're going to be able to see if it's intentional or not. So for now, I'm going to say that Liv Morgan retains the championship, as she should, to keep this program going into Bad Blood and beyond. But for now, I'm going to just say that Dominic interferes. We don't know what's going to happen from that point forward, but I am excited to find out. Now, for the WWE United States Championship, Logan Paul defends against L.A. Knight. Yeah, L.A. Knight. Kind of been circling the drain creatively a little bit, if I do say so myself, and I love the guy. I loved Eli Drake. I was a big fan of Dummy. Yeah, the Dummy yeah button. Oh man, it was living rent-free in my head for a long time, back in the TNA days. And then when he was in NWA, Shoes of a Champion, the guy just knocks it out of the park promo-wise. I don't know what's going on with this program with Logan Paul. Maybe he feels like he needed to dumb it down a little bit or lower the vibration a little bit on this promo battle because he didn't want to outshine Logan Paul or something. I have no idea. Maybe he needs a little more direction for the first time ever, because it didn't seem like he's ever needed direction. He's been really good on the fly, but something just seems a bit off. And, I'm not going to fault LA Knight for it. He's been knocking it out of the park. He's still batting over 500, but this type of program that he has with Logan Paul, it just really, really hasn't been hitting on all cylinders. And I don't know if it's because there's been a long buildup. I mean, we've essentially been waiting for LA Knight to beat Logan Paul since December of last year, maybe somewhere around there, because Royal Rumble was coming up and we were like, oh, that's definitely going to be the match at WrestleMania. So it's been a long time coming. I do believe that Logan Paul is he should retain, in my opinion, because of how hot Logan Paul is at the moment, but he doesn't defend the title often, so that's got a check against him in that regard. So in order for the United States title to be seen on WWE programming a lot more consistently, I would say that LA Knight gets the win, a much-deserved win, and beats Logan Paul for the United States Championship. And hopefully that builds back the momentum that LA Knight had in going into the year, and we can see a couple of rematches with Logan Paul, and Logan Paul can move on to some bigger and better things. So for that, I'm going with LA Knight. Yeah. For the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn defends against Bron Breakker. This was one that stumped me a bit because when we were early predicting, I was going to assume this would have been a multi-man match. I was assuming Sheamus, Ilya Dragunov, Bronson Reed, Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne. I would assume those individuals would have been involved. I am happy that they did not go that route because they are very, not too far removed from Money in the Bank, where they just had a multi-man match and they involved the ladder. So I'm actually good that they didn't do that. It seemed like it would have been a little repetitive and a little lazy booking, as Jim Cornette would say. So it's nice that they're going with this rematch. In this rematch, I do feel Bron Breakker wins the Intercontinental Championship. But see, this is another thing that I'm wondering here, because in one regard, I feel like they're kind of painting themselves into a corner. Bron Breakker needs this win to establish his dominance and to establish that he's a serious competitor in the WWE and one to look out for, a young upstart. His trajectory is, the Intercontinental Championship is the second championship below the World Championship. It's been that way in the historical macro of things for the WWE. So you would expect that this is a huge leap for him to go from to hop over the United States Championship, to hop over the Tag Team Championships, and to go straight to the Intercontinental Championship, where next in line after the Intercontinental Championship has run its course, he can be in line for a World Championship match. Look no further than Gunther. This just happened with Gunther. Gunther was the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, and after 666 days lost to Sami Zayn, and now he is challenging at SummerSlam for the World Championship. So this is the type of opportunity that you get, or is in your future, if you are an Intercontinental Champion. So look no further than that for Bron Breakker. So I feel like he should win. On the other hand, this is going to be a scenario here at SummerSlam where we may see a lot of titles change hands, and I don't know if that is something that interests Triple H, the Paul Levesque era, and if that's something that he wants to do. He's got a lot of patience. So I kind of either go back to either Damian Priest is going to retain or Sami Zayn is going to retain. And that's a tough one in and of itself. But I'm going to play it dangerous. I'm going to say, because I already said that LA Knight and Damian Priest are going to win the championships, I'm going to say that Bron Breakker wins the Intercontinental Championship as well. I think we're going to see 3 championships change hands at SummerSlam. And I think those are the 3. I think those make sense. I think it's safe to say that those are good bets. And so I'm going to stick with it, even though you can hear the hesitation in my voice, and I'm not so sure. But I'm going to stick with that. So that's what I'm thinking. Bron Breakker is going to win the Intercontinental Championship to cement his path towards his dominance. For the WWE Women's Championship, Bayley defends against Nia Jax. Spoiler alert, if you've been paying attention thus far, I said 3 championships were going to change hands. And there are 5 championships on the line at SummerSlam. Or was it 6? Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 championships on the line. I said 3 were going to change hands. And so I'm going to say Bayley retains in this one. And I don't know if Tiffany Stratton teases that she's going to cash in the Money in the Bank, but I do know she's probably going to debut a new briefcase, and it's going to be pinked and swagged out for sure. That's what's going to happen there, but I don't know if she cashes in. I don't know. I think it's too soon. I think we tease that a lot longer, and then they also keep teasing the kind of like relationship between Nia Jax and Tiff, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm going to go with Bayley. I think Bayley retains. I think she deserves it. I think her championship reign should be far from over. I think they have a lot planned with her. I think that there's a lot to revisit there, and Charlotte could be coming back very soon. So I would keep your eyes on Charlotte's return, and I would keep your eyes on Trish Stratus being involved in this match. That's something else to think about, because they had teased with Money in the Bank, a confrontation between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. So I would keep your eyes on Trish Stratus coming out, and I would hope to see that, because it would be awesome to see her live. So I'm going to go with Bayley retaining and maybe some interference between Tiff and Trish going forward. For the WWE Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes wrestles and defends his championship against Solo Sikoa. I am going to go with Cody Rhodes. I think it is very easy to determine that. I do not feel that Solo is ready, and I've said this in another video. This was all done by design. This idea that the fans are like, I don't think he's ready. Solo, I don't think he should be the leader. Like, all of this was written in the scrolls of the story of this new bloodline for the WWE. It is set up that way. Solo took the throne when there was nobody sitting there after the king, Roman Reigns, the head of the table, was bested by Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania when Cody Rhodes finished the story. So Solo sat down and said, I'm taking the reins now. I am the leader, when he was not ready, and there was no ushering in. There was no founding fathers to come in and swear him in as the head of the table, as the tribal chief. And he said, I'm taking this over. And then he grabbed a bunch of rebels, a bunch of street dudes, a bunch of guys that were shunned from the tribal cathedral or castle or whatever, and he decided to roll with these street dudes, and they decided to take over. And this is a uncharacteristic, uncoordinated, just unadulterated, unrestricted bloodline that are coming in, and they're making waves, and they're doing it in a very ugly way. Their brutality is weird, and they're doing this all to try to get what is theirs by taking shortcuts, right? So I think Cody wins. I think this is going to be a lot of interference in this match. I would assume we're going to see a lot of interference in this match. I am going to point to possibly seeing Jimmy Uso, possibly seeing a new wise man. Possibly seeing Halatalatanga, who we haven't seen. I think we're going to see a whole kit and caboodle of people. Jacob Fatu, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. I think we're going to see a whole lot of these people coming up. And I wouldn't be surprised if they add a tag team championship match to SummerSlam as well. So for that, if there is going to be a tag team championship match, let's say it's DIY against the New Bloodline. Spoiler alert. Or this probably is going to be out after the SmackDown on Friday. So I'm going to say that the New Bloodline got a chance to wrestle the DIY for the tag team championship. So I am going to say that the New Bloodline wins the tag team championships at SummerSlam. So that would be 4 of the 7 championships. There's going to be titles changing hands. So the New Bloodline wins, and then they're going to get involved as well. I think Cody wins. I think a lot of people are expecting to see Roman Reigns show up. I don't know if we see Roman Reigns showing up. It would be nice, but I think it's too early. I think they still want to milk the "we want Roman" chance. If he shows up, amazing. Amazing if Roman Reigns shows up. Because I'm going to be there and I want to see that shit. But I really feel like we might see Jimmy Uso. We might see the new wise man. We might see Halatalatanga. Obviously, we're going to see Jacob and Tama and Tonga. But I don't know if Roman's ready to come back yet. I don't know if they want to milk that for that. I think we still got a long ways for SummerSlam. So I'm going to say, yeah, we get that tease, but I don't think we see him. And I think Cody Rhodes retains, and I think it furthers this idea of maybe some dissension between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. I'd keep your eyes on that. But other than that, yeah, maybe Jimmy Uso, but that's about it. That's my guess on that. And now, this is the true main event, in my eyes. For the guest referee, Seth Rollins, as the special referee in a special attraction match. It is a grudge match. It is the war to settle the score. For the first time in WWE history, CM Punk wrestles Drew McIntyre. This is a very exciting match. I am super, if you can't tell, excited to see this match. It is going to be history in the making. The first singles match of CM Punk's return. The first time he is in the ring, singles action, since 2013 or something like that. It's been like 11 or 12 years. It's going to be crazy. Or it's been like 9 years, 10 years, whatever. But it's going to be crazy. I can't wait to see this. An amazing big match feel. I've said in other videos, and other people have said this, I'm not the only one. Reminds them and myself a lot of SummerSlam 97, where Triple H was, or Shawn Michaels was the special guest referee. Although instead of Bret Hart being CM Punk and The Undertaker being Drew McIntyre, I think they're going to flip the script on this idea. And Drew McIntyre will be Bret the Hitman Hart here, and CM Punk will be The Undertaker. And the reason why I say this is because in the Bret Hart-Undertaker match at SummerSlam, Bret Hart had a steel chair. Shawn Michaels took the steel chair from him. Bret Hart said a lot of expletives, spit at Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels recoiled, cocked back the steel chair, went to swing it. Bret Hart ducked. Undertaker got hit with the steel chair, and Bret Hart pinned The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels had to count to 3. He was reluctant in doing so, but he did count to 3, and that gave Bret Hart the win, and that led to Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker at Ground Zero. So I believe that's going to happen, and Drew McIntyre is going to get the win in this match. Drew McIntyre will win. CM Punk will then say that Rollins screwed him. And then Rollins will say, well, you screwed me first. And then they will have a match at Bash at Berlin. And then eventually, after they have their match, you're going to see CM Punk against Seth Rollins against Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood in a Hell in a Cell. Bank on it, baby. You heard it here first. I've said it in previous videos already. I did say before that it would be a first ever triple threat match in a Hell in a Cell, and that is not true. I want to clarify that because I did look it up afterwards. There was a triple threat match. There was technically 2. There was CM Punk against Ryback and Paul Heyman in a Hell in a Cell match. And then there was Alberto Del Rio against John Cena and CM Punk in a triple threat for the Hell in a Cell. Hilarious how in both of those scenarios, CM Punk was involved. Coincidence? I don't think so. History buffs, we're on it. So because CM Punk was involved in those scenarios where 3 men were in a Hell in a Cell, I believe we will see 3 men in a Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. It will be Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk, because it's the only way to solve this situation between the 3 is to put them in a Hell in a Cell and have them solve it. Since we're already getting the first ever singles match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk with Seth Rollins involved, and then after that potentially getting Seth Rollins against CM Punk, and then Drew might get involved in that as well. I just feel like it is only necessary to put those 3 against each other at Bad Blood in Georgia. That's just my opinion, though, but I am going with Drew McIntyre to win the match based on, just kind of a tussle between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. But what do you guys think? Am I on track? Is this going to go exactly how I've planned it? Is this going to go exactly as I've predicted? Well, time will tell. Is the tag team match going to be added to SummerSlam, or will it be in the preview show? Who knows what's going to happen? Guys, I can't wait for SummerSlam. I know you guys can't wait. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Go ahead and hit a thumbs up for the algorithm so that everybody can check this out and more eyes can get on the channel. And go ahead and hit that notifications bell so you can get up-to-date information on me going to SummerSlam and posting some videos about it behind the scenes. Maybe a couple of videos with some professional wrestlers, or maybe even some YouTube creators. That's right. So keep your eyes tuned to that, and we're going to keep you updated as the moments progress. There's more SummerSlam videos to come, more videos to come. As always, you guys, thanks again for stopping by. Thumbs up on the way out, and as always, try and stay united and stay tuned for more.